Alright guys, the rear end of this car is finished. What the heck? No idea what that was. But ignore the huge mess of 9-wire that I got going on all over this thing. Where do I start? Okay, so if you guys have watched previous videos, you know that I cut a slit in the very back, the whole length between the two rails, pushed the spare tire tray up as high as I could get it. Well, I took wire, through that hole in the floor, around the back, clear up, through a mount on the right there, through there, and back around the speaker deck, and sandwich it all together. Then I have this quarter panel ran up to that side of the speaker deck, same with the other side. Then I got this other piece going the whole way around the ass end of it, grabbing the quarter panels and pulling them inward. It is a little bit loose, but mainly what this is so when we start hitting, they'll push this 9-wire and I should hopefully yank these quarter panels in and up and sandwich everything together into a tight packed mass. And I also pre-bent the frame. See if I can get a good view for you guys. Okay, so you can kind of see this frame rail is level, and this green one, this green right here starts going up just ever so slightly. There, okay, so that there was straight up and down when I started. It is now bent up. I think it was down in this area. So both sides are up. I took the farm jack and yanked up the bottom of the back of it while I was strapped down on my trailer. And I also took the sledgehammer and beat it in. I cut off the muffler so I could slam this metal in. And real quick, guys, before you leave my boring video, this has a pretty hefty mount for the muffler. It sticks way in from the frame. And it's not that far away from the tire. So if somebody hits you in the back of this tire in the side, I don't know what the back end is going to do, but it might shove it around and hit this. So I am going to cut this off. I'm waiting for my Sawzall blades to show up. And I'll cut that off real quick. I can't quite get in there with my big grinder. And something else I did that I've never done on any of my derby cars. I pulled the dash out. It's still got wiring in it, which is probably going to stay. But I tore it all out because I believe that the plan is to put my battery right here. Because I can't put it at the passenger's feet because I don't want him to stab his legs on the oil thread or the battery box, or who knows what will happen. So it's probably going right there. Got the wiring all cleaned up. Can't really tell on camera, but it is all cleaned up. The only wiring in the front of this engine is for your alternator right here, just like I promised. The rest of it's all duct taped together. If you guys remember all that loose wire, it's all duct taped together, shoved down into the firewall for now. The fuse box. So this is the negative terminal. It's just attached to the frame. It'll get moved. And then this actually has enough wire to loop all the way back to there. I think I'm going to be 8 inches short, and I have a little piece of wire that I'll throw into that, and then I'll be able to completely run all the wire back. And I did run my starter wire up over the training lines, like I said. Works fine. I never did connect those grounds I pointed out in the last video, but my car wouldn't start. it would turn on the computer, fuse, everything. The starter would not engage. I don't know why. I probably pulled something. So what I did, if you follow your battery cable, you'll find this little plug right here. And so this end had the plug in it. I cut it off. The only wires in this is a big fat starter wire and a red relay wire. You just cut this, touch it to your battery when it's hooked up, and it'll start. But you have to have the key turned to on, otherwise your computer's not going to turn on. And then you just touch this wire to your battery. I'm going to extend this wire up to the firewall to where the battery is, so I can just start it right there. You can hook this up to a push button start, which I don't think I'm going to do. And then you can start it. And what this does also, why a lot of guys do it, if you have your car stuck in reverse and your car stalls, you can still start your car because you're bypassing the computer. If you do not do this and you go to start it, it won't turn the starter on because it's reading that the transmission is in reverse. It will only start in park or neutral. So you have to do that. What I did in my Subaru, pretty much show you real quick, is I kept the wires connected to the key, but I cut it and put a third wire on it. So I had my wire from the key attached to the wire to the starter, and I had another wire running off of that to where I could touch it to the battery. So I could still completely start my car on the key, but if for whatever reason I couldn't get my starter to turn over, I could hotwire my starter just real fast, just touch to the battery, and it would start up. Helps diagnose the car when you're sitting in the arena. And I kept all the clusters because I want to monitor my heat and I want to monitor my RPMs. I probably won't be able to monitor my heat too much after I pull the limp mode sensor, which I believe this car has. It might not. But I really want to be able to watch my RPMs. Because even when I drove this car on the road, I had to watch my RPMs. As they could climb really high when you're not even pushing the gas pedal. And so that was always a sign for me to put it in neutral and put it back in drive. And somehow that reset it and it would idle just fine. So this car has a idling problem sometimes, which is the main reason it got replaced. But other than that, this car runs fine. I mean, I drove it onto the trailer yesterday, and I would have been confident enough to push any of these cars I have on the property around with it. That's pretty much all the update. Oh, wait a minute, I almost forgot. I have a brake system figured out. So you get on the internet and all that, you find all these expensive foot pedals for brake systems. They're like $200. And they're big and they're clunky. I got this thing for $40. Yeah, that's probably a red flag, that's chintzy and cheap. But I just need this thing to get through tech. And this has an adjustable handle. So I'm thinking I can take this top handle off, make a little flat piece of metal with bolts welded on it, stick it in these holes, and voila, I have a foot pedal. My only concern is how far it's going to have to be to clear the firewall. But like I said, it just has to be there for tech. I'll probably mount it on something to give it a little height. But mostly just to keep it out of the passenger's way. But I also am tempted to keep it as a handbrake and mount it up here somewhere on the dash. I guess it would mount this way on the dash so that the passenger and the driver could both reach it. There we go, it'd probably go right there to where the driver and passenger can both reach it. But yeah guys, that's pretty much the update, how it's going. I got the sunroof out, which you can really see the copper in it now. So these lines are copper. I'll get around to here. I don't know how, I don't think they go too far back. That is like a plastic casing right there. So if I had to guess, it probably either stops right there or goes back maybe another ½ inch. So just something to do, guys. If you've gotten goes and you don't want to tear the header board out, you really should tear it out and check for the copper wire, copper hose around the sunroof. So yeah, I can't really think of anything else too important to share. I'll definitely keep you guys posted and updated. It is coming along amazing. And by the way, in case anyone's concerned, that is not running in the derby like that. I just pulled off the air filter and stuck a lawnmower air filter on there to keep any bugs from climbing down to the system. But that is pretty much it, guys. So I'm going to get back to work on this thing, and we shall see what happens.